In session 2, it looks like we have quite a few people online here. I'm excited to bring this next piece to all of you. And what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to introduce, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach here. I'm just going to go really quickly over just a quick review. We did mention last time about our staff. And again, as Sarah said, I'm not going to go over all of the other stuff that we did before because people can actually listen to the recording. But this time we are going to give a little bit more visuals about what it is that you're going to be doing during the program. And I would like to also introduce, I'll be introducing Mike Bell, who is the CEO of Symbio, who is one of our partners, that where you will actually be taking your course or doing your lab work. Additionally, he'll talk to you probably about some of the subsequent classes after you finish your introductory program that prepare you is basically a prerequisite to preparing you to get into more of the technology piece with Symbio and so forth. And again, we do have a couple of the instructors that are actually online that can potentially talk to you about that as well. And then we are going to look at probably a couple of videos, just really quick videos to give you a visual of what the CNC laser look like, what etching looks like, and so forth. Some things that actually are a little bit more exciting and give you a vision or visual of what it is that you can actually do with this training that you have in the subsequent courses as well. Again, Mary Farr, she's online. She is one of our sewing AFI certified instructors. Ernestine Holmes, our prototyping instructor, and Pachia Vang being the pattern engineering with the Hmong community. Ernestine will also be the prototyping and pattern making instructor as well. So you'll have a number of different instructors that you may be able to take courses from depending on when you need to do them. And again, our partner collaboration trainers, Tobias Eagle, he is online as well, is the electronics or the laser cutting instructor. Kai Ulbrich, he is also the laser cutting and 3D printing as well. And our robotics area with Eric Sweet. Now, just to really quickly just go over the objectives again and what you should be looking at as of right now, or what you should have gotten from the first video and what you're going to be getting through the end of the program itself. So again, you're going to have basically an understanding of the opportunities that you're going to have in the sewn products industry and how you'll be able to use those skill sets working, collaborating with AFI, with Symbio, and whirling right back around with California Capital and how all of that actually pulls together. You're going to recognize at least 5 sectors of the sewn products industry that may interest you, and how you can actually take the new knowledge and the new skill sets that you have so that you can actually take it to the next level for whether it's gigging or a business of your own and so forth. And then we're going to go through more navigation of the online resource library, which is very important for all of you, as I mentioned before, because it is the written content that you will need to be familiarizing yourself with. And it's in your best interest to make sure that you do that prior to the lab so that you'll be able to utilize the majority of the time of the 3 hours that you have that day in the lab. I can tell you that the time goes by very fast when you're in the lab and you're working on the different skill sets that you'll be learning. And then you'll see again how the technology interacts with the sewn products industry and in reference to speed to market. Okay. And at this time, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce in just a minute. I think I saw somebody else come in. That's Eric Sweet. Sarah, he's got my name. He's our robotics instructor. Okay. All right.
Also, Kai is here.
Oh, Kai's here too. Kai is there.
Yeah.
Thank
you. How you doing?
Great. Thanks for joining, everyone. Okay, and with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the CEO of Symbio Prototyping Guild, which is Mike Bell, who is going to talk to you guys a bit about what you can expect during and after the effect, so that you get a better understanding of what education to employment actually has in store for you. And with no further ado, Mr. Bell is on the floor.
Thank you, Connie. Appreciate the intro. Sarah, is it possible for me to show my screen real quick? I got just a handful of slides. If not, I'll just wing it.
Yes, enabled the multiple participants can share.
Okay, cool. So this is a slide deck we put together. I guess it's been
Can't
about a year
see
now.
it.
Let me bring it up here. Can y'all see it there?
I cannot. Maybe Connie, if you turn off your share screen.
Let me know if
Okay,
it's
now
coming
I
up.
see a green slide deck.
Sewn
Sewn
Products
Products Manufacturing.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Connie, another partner of ours, Alan Ware with AMW Design, and I got together about a year ago and started talking about opportunities for collaboration to help and support people to learn these skill sets and transition into a different way of providing those services as a business, as a network of businesses. And so we wanted to, we started off doing it ourselves where we were coming up with products from Symbio to market as a product line. We quickly learned, at least I quickly learned throughout the year, that our efforts, our skill sets are better suited providing training and then connecting the individuals who receive that training to opportunities for employment or for business development. And so that's where the transition is heading as we speak. So with that said, this just gives you a high level overview of what Symbio is and how it's made up. So we pretty much are a collection of other small businesses where collectively we put our brain trust together to provide technical training services, but also promoting each individual company as an assortment of services that we can provide as a whole. And so Guilds is at the top there. We focus on supply chain, project management, and workforce development primarily. And as you can see, we've got Agee Fashion Institute to the left, where they focus on more in-depth technical training. But what I want to point out to y'all is the portion highlighted blue. That's what we're focused on developing, where we recognize that we have a whole assortment of local designers trying to develop their own products and trade, and they lack the knowledge of how to expand their production capacity without having to invest in a large warehouse and infrastructure to support that expansion. And so what we came up with was a home-based solution where we provide technical training to you as members of the network, and then in return, we'll have that database on standby where we can use for marketing your services effectively. So when companies or local designers come to us for pattern making, sewing services, product design services, we now have an avenue to kick them over to a network of people that can do that direct services to the client. And right now we're just focusing on primarily on cutting as a service, but everything else from sewing to pattern making to product design, we specifically engage with the Sewn Products Network for. But even with the cutting, Connie will show you a video of that, but there are tabletop cutters, CNC laser cutters that you could leverage at your home to provide the full suite of Sewn Products manufacturing services. And so that's something that we're exploring as we speak. So with that said, let me just go over real quick on how this is structured in more depth. So designers come to us, we connect those designers to the network based on their needs. And we provide technical training and business administration training to the network to pretty much have that wraparound service so that you have the skill sets needed to look for employment as an upholsterer, as a sewing technician, as a pattern maker, or put those skill sets together and provide that as a service part of the network. So both pathways are available to you, like what Connie alluded to earlier. Number three, the Sewn Products manufacturers provide services directly to the clients. We don't want to be in the middle of the actual service or the project. We just want to be the conduit that connects potential clients to you as manufacturers. That's going to be our primary focus moving forward. And in the meantime, as we continue to expand our knowledge of the supply chain and knowing where the platforms of marketplaces are located, online and physically, we'll be able to provide additional connections to more clients in that regard. So that's where the more you grow and sustain yourselves, the more sustainable we grow as a business as well. knowing that there's a pipeline of work to feed to you as a result of the training you receive. Okay, and then we have the current workshops listed here. So these are the workshops we developed as a result of the training program we did back in December, and we just finished off the second iteration here in February. And so Tobias and Kai, and I understand Eric's on the line, they were all part of the training, the instructor cohort to provide this technical training. And what I want to point out to you specifically, what we're doing for expanding your technical training is going to be on C and D for this slide, electronics and technical drawings in particular. Who's ever heard of wearable technologies by any chance? The term wearable technology. Who's if anybody's had an opportunity to like have a button or some kind of switch on a jacket, or if you imagine a pair of gloves that have sensors integrated into them, all of that is achievable with your knowledge of sewing, pattern making, and cutting. But then we add on the additional layer of electronics. Now you can integrate all those components into the fabric itself while you're creating the product from scratch. And so the knowledge and understanding of how the electronics components work and how they can be integrated into fabric, that's going to be a particular skill set we're going to teach you as well, at least the fundamentals. And then technical drawings, that's important. So you, in addition to the pattern making process, give you another layer of a standard technical drawings used in other manufacturing industries. So you have a little bit more clarity if you wanted to farm out your particular designs to another non-apparel, non-sewn products manufacturing. There are other workshops, A and B, manual mill and welding, for those that want to take a deeper dive outside of this. When you're done with the initial training cohorts, we have other types of skill sets you can learn as well. And now on this slide, I want to point out is E and G. Additive manufacturing, that's 3D printing, and C is the CNC fabrication, the CNC laser. So those are the two processes that we're going to be expanding your knowledge to. Using a 3D printer to come up with customized accessories and components to integrate into your sewn product line, and CNC laser. Connie mentioned is real clear to me. 70% of the work is cutting. And we have all kinds of technology out there already that is used for engraving or etching or other applications. We take that same technology and apply it to cutting fabrics. And so that's where we leverage an automated piece of equipment to do complex cutting and do it repeatedly. So you'll learn that process as well. So I'll pause there, and then that gives you an overview of what our goal is for what Symbio was going to bring to the table, and on behalf of the instructors and the talent we're going to bring, how that's going to be leveraged to augment or enhance really your fundamental knowledge on sewn products manufacturing. We have Eric, Tobias, and Kai. Is there anything y'all want to add in regards to laser cutting, 3D printing, or electronics?
No, everything you said was great.
Connie,
yeah, I've been, there's a lot of stuff you can do with sewn products with, as you said, the laser cutters is huge for that, but also with 3D printing. I just finished printing Connie's logo here. If I can share my screen off.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you, Eric. If we can just pause there before, because we will get to that, and I'll bring you guys back in at that time when we actually get to that piece. And if I can just share, if we can just go back to the actual PowerPoint, Sarah, and then I'll be bringing them in once we get to those specific areas, and so that they can speak to you about their what Eric is trying to talk to you about now, and with the etching and with the laser cutting as well for Kai and Eric. Okay.
So Connie, I do have to jump off at 10.
Yes.
Was there anything
Mike.
else you wanted me to speak to, or any questions on the line here?
Is there any questions on the line for Mike Bell with Symbio before he takes off? Okay. Doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it. Okay, great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bell, for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
No problem. Thank you. And I will talk to Zena, Ernestine, and Mary later this week. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And he's going to sign off and then I'll start sharing my screen again. Share.
Yes, you should be
Okay.
able to share your screen now. There we
Okay,
go.
awesome. All right. So again, so he really kind of reiterated some of the things that I was saying before about the possibilities, and we'll go into that a little bit further, and what needs to happen to get to that level, because those are actually the subsequent classes. The beginning is the introductory, which is what all of you are here for, in gaining the knowledge of sewing something, of how to draft the patterns, and as far as making a prototype. Because with all of that, that's where you take that knowledge, that new skill set, and you're going to take it over to the technical side of it. And that's what's going to be very exciting about what you guys are going to learn. Now, in addition to that, we did mention this before, but the pathways themselves, you've got four different areas for the pathway. The introduction, which you are where you're at right now, your Sewn Product Manufacturing Basics, which is going to really take you into more of the technical piece of what the other instructors with Symbio and their own organizations are actually going to provide that skill set for you. And then into the skills concentration training, which is, hey, I really am only interested in pattern engineering, or I'm only interested in sewing. Whatever the case is, that is where you are going to decide what specific branch of what we're doing that you want to go into. The AFI certified trainer, that hopefully some of you may have some interest in that area as well, because you maybe want to help your communities, or whatever the specific situation is. If you're a certified trainer, you may be certified for one area or all four. It really depends on whatever it is that you would like to do. Some people have 3 certifications, some are only interested in 1. Now, our individuals and organizations, individuals obviously can take this course. We actually, with the organizations, some of them are on the line now, that have people in their communities that they really want to put through the program itself. So that's the organizations we're not leaving them out. They would just need to contact California Capital and make the arrangements for their specific members of their organization that they may want the training for. And again, as we stated, from the bilingual perspective, is that if there's a language barrier or a potential language barrier, to make sure that you let California Capital know at the time of registration, so they can arrange for something or some assistance in those particular areas, whether it's for in the classroom or having an actual class only with that particular language. So again, that's something that you would actually talk to them about. We mentioned before about the types of apparel, and as far as PPE and how all of this actually came about with the pandemic and so forth. We mentioned the medical apparel, face masks and gloves, and then there's other types of apparel as well that you actually, depending on where you want to go with this new skill set of yours that you're developing, it could end up in, I don't know, military, NASA. It could just go as far as you potentially want it to go. But right now, what I wanted to show you is just to give you an idea of what it is the network people actually get when, after the program, and you decide that you would like to sign up under the network and provide the sewing service for, or it could be pattern making, or it could be laser cutting, and that's coming as well. But right now, this is the face mask. And then in a couple of slides, we'll also show you what that actually looks like. But so we're going to go to our library, resource library here, and to give you an idea. And this basically is, we like to be able to provide the best that we can to give you the instruction of how to create a product. So when you're going to the library itself, this library provides job aids and so forth for you to use. And face masks specifically, so here you can see, we actually provide everything for you in order to create a product. You're going to walk through this process when you're actually in the lab. This is the sewing part of the process. We give you the aid itself so that you can actually see the contents that you would need for the particular product, the amount of time that it actually is going to take you, or that it should take you in order to produce the product. And we also provide hints for you if certain things are happening that, say for instance, maybe you need some troubleshooting into figuring out whether or not a product is actually looking the way it should look. And everything that you have here, we're showing you and giving you that information so you can actually test yourself. You can determine your own how well you think that you're actually doing with the product. And we determine how many pieces per hour that you actually should be getting or should be producing. And that typically is going to be determined on how much money you make per hour. So these are just one of the job aids that we actually have to assist you in the actual sewing of or producing of a product. And this is our mask, or one of the masks that we've produced for a client. And again, we are going to be able to show you in a couple of slides what that looks like from the cutting perspective as well. Okay. Now, the non-apparel sewn products. Non-apparel sewn products, we did mention that before as well. So we have the bedding industry, the automobile industry, construction. As you can see, there's just a number of different industries, agriculture. So there's so many different areas that you can actually work with sewn products, and then bring in that technology piece that you're going to learn subsequently from or after you finish the lab portion and working with the instructors from Symbio and their own particular organizations. And then for our specifications, oftentimes what happens is students are going to ask, well, how do I get started with this? What does it mean, concept to consumer? What is the end-to-end process? So the more you start to learn, the more questions you have. So we're going to give you here just a little bit, again, a visual of what you can expect and seeing what an actual specifications package looks like. And this is the administrative side of it. You will be learning this as well. How to write a specifications package, how to read the specifications package, so you basically understand. Actually, let me see here. Give me just a moment. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this specific package right here, this is what a specification package looks like. And this is just the basic shirt that has a number of different pieces that go with the engineering of the product itself. All of this information, we go with product categories, what the description looks like. You're going to learn all of this. Size ranges, what does that actually mean? What's the technical information that you really need to know in order to produce this product to the level that you would like to produce the product? It could be, if you start out with something, for instance, like a medium garment, and then you say, hey, but I want a larges and extra larges and 2Xs. Well, this is where you actually state in the manufacturing process what it is that you're going to do with that particular product. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of information, a little bit of a visual of what that actually looks like. And here you can see we speak to the descriptions of the product itself. What are the actual items or the notions and findings that need to go on there? Are there zippers? Are there snaps? Is there an interlining? All of those types of things you're going to learn with notions in your sewing class. And then the pattern making itself, you'll take the pattern making experience that you have and skill set, and you'll create the pattern that for this particular, or not this one, but for a particular garment. And then you'll fill out this information to state what actually needs to happen with that garment. And then here again is even more details about the dimensions of something. How large is a pocket? How wide is a pocket? What does that actually mean? How long is my zipper? All of these things are things that you're going to learn in your lab from a basic level. And then of course you will build on that skill set as you go to the next level. You could even have something like this to where if you have a pocket on there, maybe it has some sort of electronic something that's connected to it that makes it light up or something. Maybe it's some sort of item to where, like with the chiropractors, to where they have those some electronic components in it to make it heat up. So it just really depends on what your product is and what you want to add to it. But hopefully what we're doing here is giving you, helping you to expand your mind and see what could be in your head, because we all have our experiences that we've had with products that we've liked or that we've liked to make better and so forth. And that is what you're doing here, is learning from the beginning. And this is where it starts, at the introductory level. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Give me just a moment here. Okay. Our sewing operations, what does that mean? Well, we have your sample makers, we have your mass production sewists, and what I just showed you with the technical, the specifications, that's where the mass production comes in. How many different sizes are you going to be using, and so forth. Your pattern engineering, again, you learn how to create the pattern, which translates into the specifications package. So it's a whole step. You work into the industrial cutting. How is that product actually going to get cut? And there's you'll start off with the rotary cutters, and then you'll roll into the next subsequent classes that actually deal with the laser cutting, more speed to market. How are we going to get the mass amount of product cut so that we can get it produced or sewn by the operators? And that rolls us into the technical piece of it. That's dealing with laser cutting and some of the things that you can learn with the subsequent courses: garment cutting, if you're a quilter, cutting the quilting pieces, non-apparel product cutting, anything that basically that you believe that you need to, that you know that you're going to need to do. And here, I'm just going to play this quick video for you. It's really short, and then we'll introduce one of the other instructors, Kai and associates, that may want to speak to you about what this looks like, or Tobias, either one of you can speak to this. And give us just a minute. And this is for a mask.
Yeah, and if you guys see, this process was super fast, and this is able to make a mask. I believe the actual operation time was around 20 seconds, and we made 2 of them within that time. So these processes on the laser engraver is super efficient for high volume production. So say you're like wanting to make a 1,000 mask line, is like it'll take a few hours to do it on the machine. Minus the setup, of course, but that's just a little something this part of specifically.
Okay. And Kai, would you like to add anything to that?
I think that sums it up very well.
Okay, okay. And this is another piece of, as far as the etching is concerned, and what that actually looks like from a creative standpoint, and what you might want to do with any products that you have. And we'll just pay this real quickly, and then one of the instructors, if they want, can speak to this.
Yeah, and on this, I believe Connie's assistant or worker asked me to laser engrave her logo, and that's what I did on a piece of fabric, and it actually came out pretty well. And you can see right here, it was going across really fast, and I believe this took around a minute or so, and it has super fine details. I believe I gave Connie the actual product afterwards, and it came out really good. So that just expands the horizons for laser engraving.
Okay, thank you. So one of these things that as students, which we're going to be doing and adding to your curriculum, is we are going to be, whatever product that you create from a prototype, as a prototype, you're going to take this, and then if you decide that you want to go into the subsequent classes, this is where the Tobias or Kai would actually instruct you on how to get something etched on a product that you actually create. So that's what's going to be really exciting about it. And we'll have, we'll be able to take that product and or the sketch of the product and scan it in under, I believe it's under a CAD program, and then he'll be able to take you to that next level. But again, this is the subsequent. So the first step is actually learning how to create something, going through the process of it, and then finalizing it with any type of other creativity that you might want to have, be it electronics or etching or whatever the case is. Now, there's another area that we work with as well, which is the 3D printing. I believe that Eric Sweet wanted to speak to that. Eric, if you'd like to go ahead and take over from here.
Yeah, is it possible I can share my screen?
Okay, I will stop here. Sarah, are you still there?
I'm here. It should be set to multiple participants. So as soon as you end your share screen, then we should be able to share another screen.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and stop mine.
Okay, so this is a part that we had in the sewing shop that broke. And I realized this, while this is a mechanical part, not an actual sewn product, the wiring needed to be repaired. And I did that while the design printed. I designed it in CAD and printed it up, and we had the piece of equipment back up and running. So that was really handy. And there's a couple other things you can do with the sewn products. You can print things directly on fabric, and then you have a flexible material that you can bind together in sections and create textures that way, as well as creating, like I said, parts for broken equipment or specialty parts for equipment for a certain project. And then like the masks, you create frames to go under them, things like that. And then my favorite was what I did today, that I printed this logo here. And so we have the logo printed in 3 different materials. And this is actually a soft print. So if we, let's see if I can get back here to share screen. So if I come back here and I put, sorry, there we go. And so I've got, here's the product, and this one's actually soft, so you could sew it onto a product. But if you wanted to make one that was hard to go on the outside of, say, packaging or as a signage, that you can do that as well. So.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome. So remember, people, one of the things that that looked like a patch to me. So you can actually create patches to sew on your sewn products as well. You can create those patches to put on bags or whatever product that you may want to put on. You can get real creative with sci-fi, like what he showed you with look like little horns coming out of the fabric. I mean, there's just other things that you can actually do to enhance there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so looking to the future. So one of the things I wanted to go over with you all, and as we near the closing here, so that we'll start with questions, and that is the job opportunities, because the whole idea behind this, of course, is education to employment. We want to position ourselves so that we can actually earn. And one of the things that we have available to you as a resource here is our job board. Okay, and so with the job board, under the job board, this is where you will have access to some of the other industry areas and organizations that may actually have work for you, so that whether it's gigging or whether it's going to work for them directly, there will be. This information right here is continuously being updated as we get more employers to come on with us, or work that we may need specifically. For instance, here under the instructors for training. Well, that's pretty much ongoing, as I had mentioned before. This is stuff that we want to make sure that we get more people into. If you're interested in industrial cutting, every time a project actually comes through the Symbio Guild, and they request us to do a number of different cutting services, which happens all the time. You may have, if you have the skill set to take on a project like that or participate in a project, you would be able to sign up for that particular project and work and earn income. And as we showed you before, the industrial cutting and the CNC laser cutting, you can fit that right in your house or in your garage or whatever, because it's really not a very large space. And so as you can see here, also with the operator, and operators, meaning sewing operators, are always going to be needed because some stuff has to be sewn. That's part of the network. Once you finish your lab, your 3 days of lab, you would actually be eligible to sign up for the network and take advantage of any projects that come through to earn. Okay. And now, what are some of the benefits for attending the product manufacturing program? As you can see, just from what you've seen now, you've got entrepreneurship opportunities, employment, networking that you would be privy to organizations that may be hiring so that they will be wanting to use the skill sets that you have, gigging opportunities, that's just any small things that you may want to do based on your own schedule, and also for teaching. You can become part of the AFI training staff, and we also, in addition to being an AFI trainer, you have the opportunity to train for Symbio as well when those opportunities become available. As far as registration, how do you register? I believe Sarah is going to put a link in the chat to where you can click on that link and get registered for the labs coming up. Those labs start on March 16th and for the month of March, and then April, May, and June as well. So there you would be able to determine based on your own schedule what's going to be best for you. Okay, there will be deadlines, and California Capital will state those deadlines as well. If there's any sorts of concerns or issues and you need a specific month and you aren't able to, I think there was maybe some concessions made. Sarah can speak to that as well if someone needs to wait and still want to get into a class and it's after the deadline. So that's something that you want to work out with them as well. And then, of course, if you need any sort of language assistance, then you want to make sure that you let California Capital know at that time. And now what I'm going to do is open this up to the floor for anyone to ask any questions that you may have regarding the program itself, any concerns that you might have, anything that you want to ask. Let's go ahead and open that up now, Sarah.
Sure. So I just put the link in the chat, so you can click there to sign up and pay. And then you can let me know if you would like the AM or the PM session for March. For PM, there's only 2 spots left. For AM, there are 3 spots left for the month of March, but we will have April, May, June lab sessions. So if you do log on to the website and click the link that I just put in the chat and you pay, but maybe you want the June month, just reach out to me and I will mark you down in my spreadsheet as paid and as a participant in June for either the AM or the PM lab. So just reach out to me and we will get you all situated if you're looking for a future month to take the lab, and I will get you all set up. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. I know everyone was muted upon entry, so go ahead and unmute yourself, or if you want to paste your question in the chat, you're more than welcome to do that as well.
So I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Let's say I want to do these logos or the soft logos for our organization. So can I do it during the lab or after the lab, or I buy the machines, or I don't know. So
Okay.
Okay.
So if you're going to create, if that's part of your intent is to create logos, well, the first step, of course, is going through the lab, which you're already signed up for, so that we teach you the basics of what you need to know. And then from that point, then we go into, you're going to go into the subsequent classes, which would be with one of the other instructors, whether it's electronics or with the laser cutting, maybe actually being both, or the laser cutting and creating logos with maybe Eric, would that be your area? Would you be able to help them with that as well to create a specific logo?
Possibly, yeah, depending on what they're looking for. I can do all kinds of CAD work.
Mm-hmm. And so again, Dina, that would be after you finish your program, because there's some things that you really need to know about creating and how it's going to fit to different products that you might actually be creating for the ACES as well, and the dimensions of the product itself, how is it placed on the bag and things like that. So there's a couple of other pieces that are going to go with that. So yes, to answer your question.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. As far as the beginning courses, do you get some type of certification for that? Something saying you've completed those courses?
Yes, you will receive a certificate of participation at the end, and that certificate of participation tells the instructors at the subsequent levels that you have finished the basic requirements so that you are ready to move into the next level. Good question, because you definitely need that in order to move to the next levels. There are some courses, however, that are just introductory, just to get people a taste of what is possible. But when we start looking at going into it at a level to where you're actually coming out with a product that you're ready to put on your website or on Shopify or wherever to sell, that's where you're going to want to make sure you have that certification so that you go to the next level, to the next classes subsequent.
Okay, and then I have
Great
one more
question.
question. In regard to etching, is that a program, is that a class, or is that like a course program? And is that similar to, I guess, like the Glowforge machine? Is that kind of a similar?
Okay, and then with that, either Tobias or Kai, the instructors for that area, can actually answer that question.
Yeah. For the Glowforge answer, it actually is pretty similar, but our machine at work or at our facilities is actually much more high powered than the Glowforge, because while the Glowforge allows etching, specific materials won't be able to get cut on Glowforge, which our machine is able to do. I didn't quite hear your first question, but I think that's more a question for Connie.
Okay.
Was your
I
first
think,
question answered?
yeah, regarding to etching. So what would a typical, I guess, course program be like for if you wanted to go into etching, or I guess even cutting? Because I know a Glowforge is a kind of small machine, but if I was interested in the cutting aspect, is that one program curriculum, and then etching a separate program curriculum? And would I need a Glowforge, or is that just something would I buy a different type of machine if I was interested in that?
Okay, so basically what'll happen here is that your curriculums are actually being developed now for subsequent programs. So what Tobias and Kai will be doing for you guys as instructors is giving you the basics of those types of programs. California Capital, you would be able to speak with them about getting any sort of funding for any machinery that you might need. And then again, that would be submitted to the CEO of Symbio, and then they would basically come up with the curriculum that will take you to that next level. So the start is just the introductory, so that you learn how to use the equipment that's at the facility. And then if you're going into your own business or anything like that, California Capital again would be able to help you with the funding for that, to getting the equipment. And so you will be speaking to counselors, and Sarah can speak to that as well. And just to kind of go through that, every one of the stages. But the first stage again is going through the subs or the fundamental classes for the etching, and then going into the curriculum base, and that will be outlined in the future. But right now it's all introductory.
Okay.
So that you know how to use the equipment at the facility. So when you're coming there, you are proficient at using them.
Okay, thanks.
And Sarah, did you want to speak to, when she asked about the equipment and what she would need for the equipment, there are some services that are available to actually help the students that are looking to buy equipment to get that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so if you're looking for, assistance with access to capital, you can have a whole intake process with our lending team, and they will kind of assess and help you figure out where you're at and see what we can do to help you get access to capital. Whether it's internal in-house, we are able to do direct lending to an extent because we are a CDFI, and if it's outside and you're looking for a much larger loan, then what happens is our lending team works with local community banks. So just depending on where you're at, how much access to capital you're looking for. And then of course, business counseling. If you need general business counseling, we have 3 business counselors that can assist you on your journey.
And also with your instructors, with Tobias and also Kai and Eric, they would be able to really guide you to what you would need in order to really be proficient at the work that you may want to do. They'd be able to really help you with that to determine how much money you would need. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You're welcome. Okay. Doesn't sound like there's any more questions, Sarah.
Yes, I don't see any in the chat. If I will put this recording up, I will send it out actually to everyone that's attending, and then I will also put the recording up on the website, and we'll get it on YouTube so that anyone can view it if you need to review or you want to see any of the PowerPoints that were viewed during this presentation, you can do that. And again, you can, if you want to take the March session, you can pay. Actually, if any of the sessions you want to take, you can pay through the link that I provided in the chat, and then I will put my email in the chat right now. You can message me to mark you down for whichever month you'd like, and if you're looking for the AM or the PM session.
Okay, awesome. And I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to come to this webinar. Is there another question that just popped up?
I don't see one.
It says, after the beginning course to enroll, do we go through California Capital or AFI and additional courses? Okay, so the beginning, after the beginning course, yes, you would actually go through AFI to go to for the subsequent courses. That is correct.
Okay, then. Well, thank you, everyone. I have no more questions on my end. Oh, Sheila.
Oh, Sheila. Yeah, Sheila.
Yes, I would like to know, last week, if we participated last week, that program is, when we sign up for that program, is that the same as this program, just a different section of it? Or are they separate programs that we need to sign up for each?
So you can, Karan, you can answer if you'd like.
Okay, so this is all one. This is all one program, or were you referring to the subsequent classes? Because this is just, there was 2 sessions. So you had session 1 where we introduced you to what the program is about. And then today was session 2, so that we can bring a bit more information to you to see how all the programs work together, as well as our affiliates, so that you understand where the subsequent classes are, that with the technology pieces of it, so that you have an opportunity and knowing, wow, after I finish this initial course, then I have some other opportunities. And then that's what this was for as well, to let you guys know that what you
Thank
had.
you.
But if you want,
I just wanted to make sure that I understood correctly and there weren't 2 different programs, or there was 2 different programs that I could sign up for both. That's all. Thank you so
you're
much.
fine.
Okay, last chance. Any more questions? Any hands? Anyone can raise their hand and unmute themselves.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for allowing me to present this course for everyone. And I look forward to the individuals that are already signed up and others as well. And if you have any questions that you have in addition after the webinar, you can always email me, or you can give a call as well and ask any of those questions. Okay, thanks everyone.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Look for the recording in your inbox shortly.
Thank you.
Take care.